The secret language of flirting, that goes beyond words. What if I told you that the most powerful flirting doesn't happen with words at all? That long before you say hello, you've already spoken volumes. In a world where dating feels like a game and connection feels harder than ever, there's a hidden language, quiet, magnetic, and often misunderstood, that separates forgettable interactions from unforgettable chemistry. And once you learn to speak it, everything changes. You don't need cheesy lines, fake confidence, or to pretend you're someone you're not. You just need to understand this. In this video, we're diving deep into the secret language of flirting that goes beyond words. If you've ever wondered how some people effortlessly attract attention without trying, and how you can do it too, authentically, stay with me, because by the end, you'll not only see flirting differently. Let's begin. Flirting starts before you say a word. That single truth flips the script on everything most people think they need to do to attract someone. We've been conditioned to believe that it's about clever lines, witty comebacks, or having the right thing to say at the right time. But the truth is far more primal and far more powerful. Attraction begins in silence. Long before your voice reaches someone, your presence already has. When you walk into a room, you're already sending a signal. Your posture, your pace, the way your eyes scan the space, they all create a message that others read instantly. Are you nervous or comfortable? Are you trying to blend in, or are you grounded in who you are? That message shapes how people respond to you, whether consciously or unconsciously. Humans are wired to pick up on micro signals. We respond to body language, energy, and attention with lightning-fast instincts. Flirting, therefore, is not about performance. It's about transmission, the kind of message your presence is broadcasting before anything is spoken. Think about someone who doesn't say much but somehow lights up every room they walk into. What's happening there? They've mastered the art of nonverbal impact. Their energy feels open, not guarded. They don't need to be the loudest voice. They communicate something even deeper. I'm good with who I am, and I don't need to chase anyone to feel validated. That's magnetic, because real attraction doesn't happen when someone tries too hard. It happens when someone feels so comfortable in their own skin that it gives others permission to relax around them too. Your body speaks, your eyes speak, your stillness or your fidgeting speaks. The way you occupy space speaks. Flirting that happens before words is an energy exchange. When you're relaxed and present, people feel safe and drawn in. When you're anxious or overly focused on getting it right, people feel that too, and it creates tension rather than curiosity. Presence is the foundation. Presence says, I'm here, I'm available to this moment, I'm not in my head performing, I'm in my body enjoying. This kind of silent flirtation isn't manipulative or fake. It's deeply human. It's about allowing your true self to show through without apology. When you're fully present, you notice the little things. The glance someone gives you, the way they shift slightly toward you, the spark that might pass in a smile. You don't miss those details when you're present, because you're not too busy rehearsing lines in your mind. You're alive to the moment, and that aliveness is magnetic. Even your breath communicates. Shallow, rapid breaths tell the world you're unsure. Slow, grounded breaths tell the world you're at ease. That subtle cue creates an emotional ripple in the people around you. So before you ever approach someone, before you speak, ask yourself, what is my body saying right now? What is my presence saying? Am I radiating calm confidence or hidden insecurity? People don't fall for the words you say. They fall for how they feel in your presence. They fall for your energy. That's why some people can walk across a room, make eye contact, and never say a thing, and yet the connection is undeniable. Flirting begins in that silence, in that glance, in that brief but powerful moment where your presence tells someone, I'm someone worth knowing. If you want to elevate your flirting game, you don't need to learn better lines. You need to learn how to be. Because the most attractive language you'll ever speak is the one you say without saying a word. Confidence is contagious. It spreads without effort, without noise, without even trying. You walk into a space, and before you've said a word, people feel it. They feel it in your posture, in the stillness of your presence, in the unshakable energy that says, I know who I am, and I like who I am. That's the kind of confidence that doesn't just attract, it transforms. Not only does it shift how people see you, but it also invites them to raise their own energy to match yours. The truth is, we live in a world where people are starved for genuine self-assurance. Not arrogance, not the loud kind of confidence that's performative or used to cover insecurity, but the quiet kind, the grounded kind, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. That energy is rare, and when someone embodies it, others are instinctively drawn in. It signals safety, it signals certainty, and most importantly, it signals self-worth. When it comes to flirting or building romantic connection, confidence becomes the silent magnet that sets everything else in motion. People don't fall for words, they fall for how you see yourself. If you see yourself as valuable, that belief bleeds into every interaction. You don't overgive, you don't chase, you don't try to impress. Why? Because you already know your worth, and you don't seek validation to confirm it. That's the core of contagious confidence. It's not about trying to be more, it's about fully owning who you already are. This kind of confidence changes the way you behave without you even realizing it. It alters your body language, your shoulders stay back, your head stays high, your movements are intentional rather than rushed or nervous. It affects your voice, it's calm, measured, and unapologetic. It even affects your sense of humor. Because when you're not afraid of looking silly, you allow yourself to be playful, and that lightness creates connection effortlessly. People who lack confidence tend to approach flirting from a place of scarcity. I hope they like me. I hope I don't mess this up. That mindset puts the other person on a pedestal, and any time you pedestal someone, you disqualify yourself in your own mind. But when you're confident, you don't approach with need, you approach with curiosity. You're not thinking, will I be enough? You're thinking, is this someone I even enjoy? Do we vibe? Do they bring something meaningful to my life? That subtle mental shift creates powerful external results. Suddenly, people want your attention, not because you're begging for theirs, but because you've made it clear that you choose, you don't chase. And here's something most people don't realize. Confidence is not about being fearless. It's about being okay with fear, but moving forward anyway. It's being okay with rejection, because you know rejection doesn't define you. That inner strength radiates outward, and it makes everything about you more magnetic. People sense when you're emotionally self-sufficient. They sense when you're not looking to be rescued or validated. And ironically, that's what makes them want to come closer. Confidence also gives you boundaries. You know what you want, but more importantly, you know what you won't tolerate. You're not afraid to walk away if the energy feels off, and that willingness to walk away is one of the most powerful things you can communicate without saying a word. It tells the world, I'd love to connect, but I don't need to settle. At the end of the day, confidence isn't just attractive, it's irresistible. Because when you carry yourself with belief in your own value, others can't help but feel that energy, and once they feel it, they want to be around it. Not because you convinced them, but because you reminded them of what it feels like to believe in themselves too. Playful curiosity over performance. That is the soul of real flirting. Most people think they need to perform to be liked, to be interesting, or to win someone's attention. But true connection isn't about impressing someone, it's about creating a moment where two people drop the performance and actually see each other. That's what flirting should be, a dance of intrigue, not a job interview or a stage show. And that dance begins with curiosity, not control. When you approach flirting with a performance mindset, you start thinking in scripts. You worry about saying the right thing, asking the right question, or appearing perfect. That kind of energy is exhausting, not just for you, but for the person you're trying to connect with. They don't feel seen. They feel like they're being sold to. And nobody wants to feel like a customer when it comes to romance. Curiosity, on the other hand, is magnetic. It's disarming. It says, I'm here to explore, not to convince. I'm open to discovering who you are, not trying to force you into liking me. That approach makes space for play. It invites humor, mischief, and unpredictability, the exact ingredients that make flirting feel electric instead of forced. A playful smirk, a light tease, a spark in your eye, these things say far more than memorized compliments ever could. When you're curious instead of performative, you listen differently. You're not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're engaged. You're reading their facial expressions, noticing the pauses, paying attention to their body language. This level of presence builds chemistry. It tells the other person that they don't have to be perfect either. And in that freedom, real moments happen. The kind that feel unforgettable, not because they were perfectly scripted, but because they were completely real. Playful curiosity also helps you move through fear. Performance is rooted in fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough. But curiosity is rooted in abundance. It says, let's see where this goes. Let's have fun with this. That attitude removes pressure from the interaction. It allows for laughter, even awkwardness. And when someone sees that you're not thrown off by a little imperfection, they begin to feel safer being themselves around you. Flirting from a place of curiosity also empowers you. Because when you're focused on discovery, you're not stuck in your head wondering if you're good enough. You're out of your ego and into the moment. You're able to ask interesting questions. You're free to make bold statements. You're present enough to notice their reactions and pivot playfully. That flexibility, that freedom to explore, creates a dynamic where the other person wants to stay in the moment with you because it feels good. Even eye contact changes under curiosity. When you're performing, your eyes search for approval. But when you're curious, your eyes invite connection. They ask unspoken questions. They hold attention in a way that says, there's more I want to know. That kind of look is unforgettable. It doesn't come from rehearsing. It comes from relaxing into who you are and genuinely enjoying the process of connection. Flirting isn't about proving your value. It's about expressing your interest with authenticity and ease. When you lead with curiosity, you stop trying to be impressive and start becoming interested. And that shift changes everything, because people don't want to be around someone who's perfect. They want to be around someone who's present, someone who makes them laugh, someone who turns a simple conversation into a shared moment. That's what playful curiosity does. It creates space for chemistry to grow without pressure, without performance, and without pretense. Energy matching and mirroring is one of the most subtle yet powerful tools in human connection. Most people don't even realize they're doing it, but it happens in almost every social interaction. When someone feels comfortable with you, their body will naturally begin to sync with yours. Their voice might soften to your tone. Their breathing might unconsciously follow your rhythm. Their posture might start to mirror how you're sitting or standing. And what's incredible is that you can intentionally create this kind of rapport, not by copying someone in an obvious way, but by attuning yourself to their energy and gradually syncing with it in a way that feels natural and unforced. Flirting isn't about pushing your way into someone's space, it's about being invited into it. And the fastest way to earn that invitation is by making someone feel emotionally safe and subtly understood. When your energy mirrors theirs, they feel seen without even realizing why. It tells their nervous system, you're with someone like you. You're with someone who gets it. And that feeling opens the door to deeper trust and attraction. Energy matching begins with awareness. You have to pay attention not just to what someone is saying, but how they're saying it. Are they speaking fast or slow? Are they animated or calm? Are they leaning in or hanging back? You don't need to mimic every move they make. In fact, doing so too obviously would come off as strange. But by gradually adjusting your tone, pace, posture, or emotional intensity to be in rhythm with theirs, you start to create a connection that feels natural and unspoken. It's like getting into the same emotional frequency without saying a word. Imagine you're interacting with someone who's soft-spoken, thoughtful, and calm. If you approach that person with a loud, high-energy, fast-talking style, they'll feel overwhelmed or misunderstood. But if you slow down, speak with a little more softness, and lean into that calm energy, they'll feel a sense of alignment with you. That doesn't mean losing your personality or faking anything. It means meeting them where they are and then guiding the energy together into a more playful or flirty space once trust is established. It also works in reverse. If someone is naturally high energy and full of life and you come in flat or too reserved, it creates emotional dissonance. They won't know why, but it just won't click. When you're aware of their energy and start to rise up to meet it, they feel that shared momentum. And that's when the magic happens. Flirting becomes a flow, the laughter is easier, the eye contact lasts longer, and everything feels more electric because the energy is in sync. Energy mirroring also builds empathy. It forces you to listen not just with your ears, but with your body. It deepens your intuition. You start to feel what the other person is feeling, and that emotional intelligence makes you far more attuned and attractive. People don't just want to be admired, they want to be understood. And when they feel that from you, they drop their guard. The beauty of this dynamic is that it can be led as well. Once you've matched someone's energy and built that bridge of comfort, you can gently lead them into new emotional spaces, into more laughter, more tension, more flirtation, by shifting your own tone and watching them follow. That's the dance. You align, then invite. You meet them where they are and then slowly pull them into the kind of energy you want to co-create. And when done right, it feels effortless, electric, and real. Boundaries are attractive. This is something most people don't fully understand when it comes to flirting and romantic connection. There's a common myth that being available, agreeable, and endlessly accommodating makes you more desirable. But in reality, nothing dims your energy faster than the feeling that you're willing to bend in any direction just to be liked. When someone senses that you'll tolerate anything just to keep their attention, the mystery is lost, the respect fades, and the attraction slowly dies. Boundaries, on the other hand, create a sense of strength. They say, without a single word, I know my worth and I protect it. Flirting isn't just about showing interest, it's also about showing self-respect. When you have healthy boundaries, you don't just give your energy away to anyone who wants it. You become selective, intentional. You stop chasing connection and start filtering for alignment. That's where real power lies, not in being wanted by everyone, but in knowing who deserves your attention and who doesn't. That kind of confidence radiates without you ever needing to raise your voice or explain yourself. It's in how you respond when someone crosses a line, and in how calmly you walk away when the energy feels wrong. Boundaries create tension in a good way. They introduce a sense of challenge, not because you're playing games, but because you're not instantly available to be won over. That subtle resistance sparks curiosity. It invites pursuit. It makes someone think, there's more to this person than what I see on the surface. And that curiosity is one of the key ingredients to lasting attraction. Without boundaries, there's no intrigue, but when you stand firmly in what you value, it makes every act of kindness, every flirtatious gesture feel more meaningful, because it's coming from someone who chooses to give it, not someone who needs to be liked. The irony is that many people confuse boundaries with walls, but they're not the same. Walls are built from fear and keep everyone out. Boundaries are built from self-worth and invite the right people in while keeping the wrong ones at a distance. When you flirt with boundaries intact, you flirt with clarity. You can be warm, playful, and expressive, but if someone oversteps or disrespects your time, your space, or your values, you're not afraid to pause, reset, or walk away. That response doesn't make you less attractive, it makes you more. People can feel your boundaries even when you don't speak them. They're felt in your body language, in your tone, in your pacing. When you take your time to respond rather than rushing to please, that's a boundary. When you hold eye contact but don't overly chase someone's approval, that's a boundary. When you show interest but don't tolerate disrespect, that's a boundary. And all of those things communicate that you are emotionally grounded, self-aware, and deeply connected to your own sense of value. In the world of flirting, boundaries are the frame around your self-expression. They let others know where you end and they begin. They give people a sense of what it would actually feel like to be in a relationship with you, respectful, stable, and real. And in a world filled with people trying too hard to be liked, the person who stands tall with healthy limits shines brighter than the loudest voice in the room, because that person isn't trying to be everything for everyone. They're simply being themselves, with enough courage to say yes when it's right and no when it doesn't. That strength isn't just attractive, it's unforgettable. In the end, flirting isn't about tactics, pickup lines, or trying to be someone you're not. It's about presence, confidence, curiosity, connection, and self-respect. It begins before words are spoken, in the energy you carry and the comfort you bring into a room. It continues through a deep, quiet confidence that doesn't chase approval but invites connection. It thrives on playful curiosity, not performance, letting you explore without pressure and connect. It deepens through energy matching, where you sync with someone's vibe not to imitate but to resonate, and it is protected and empowered by boundaries, the invisible but powerful standard that reminds others you value yourself too much to settle for anything less than mutual respect and genuine chemistry. Flirting, when done with authenticity, isn't about manipulation or control. It's about creating a space where two people feel seen, safe, and excited to explore each other, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. The secret language of flirting goes far beyond words. It speaks through presence, intention, and the courage to be real. Thank you for taking the time to receive this message. I appreciate your openness, your attention, and your willingness to grow in the area of love and connection. Remember, the most magnetic thing about you is who you truly are. When you stop performing, start listening, and begin trusting the power of your presence,